Bula Vinaka and a warm welcome to Speak Your Mind. I'm Louise Kaunisela. The United Nations has designated June the 15th as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. As children, we treasured being around our parents and grandparents. They loved and cared for us, fed us, and taught us lifelong lessons. When we reach adulthood, some of us tend to ignore our elders. We find ourselves absorbed with our own lives and forget that these are the very people who took care of our needs when we were young. In many households, our parents and grandparents gradually turn into a burden. Now, therefore, elders are not getting the respect they deserve. Now, my guest in the studio today from the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation is the Principal Welfare Officer of the Old People's Unit, Dilitiana Balinambuli, and also manager of the PS Home, Miss Ruthi Kava. And we also will have joining us later Fiji's former roving ambassador and a former permanent secretary of the Ministry of Social Welfare, Litia Maui. But for now, a warm welcome to Speak Your Mind.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lovely. So let's just get on with it. Now, what is the purpose of the Elder Abuse Campaign?
Thank you, Louis. At the outset, I wish to thank FBC for the platform to come and advocate on this issue of elder abuse. Elder abuse is a universal problem. It's not only here in Fiji or in the Pacific. It's a problem right across the world where older persons, they face discrimination across certain fields, and it comes in types. And I'm glad that government is making a stand against this issue. And I think it will join the World Campaign on June 15th, where it is declared World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. For us, it's important that we lobby against elder abuse, and we're grateful for this platform where we could hear from experienced professionals. They get to share their realities. And that's basically what we are trying to do today. Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for making the time to talk about this very important topic. So maybe we shall talk to our friend here, who is the manager of the PS Home, Miss Ruthi Kava. You might be able to tell us what are the types of elder abuse.
Thank you, Louise. There are lots of type of elder abuse that has been witnessed and it's been happening in the world today. Not only in Fiji, it's in the world, throughout the world.
Right.
So one first type of elder abuse is physical. We call it physical abuse. This is when our elders been abused by relatives, been abused by to some extent by caregivers, been abused by anybody out there in the community. Yeah, they mishandle them. Yeah, they abuse them, and you witness this when you find bruises. On the clients. You find bruises, especially with women on breasts. You find they'll become, the outcome of physical abuse. You'll see it on residents when they start to behave abnormally. They become very grumpy. Okay. They're not talking. They don't want anybody to come closer to them. No, these are some of the signs that you'll notice that this particular client or this particular elder is being abused to some extent.
Right.
That's number one, which is the physical abuse. Right. So there's another abuse that is also it's been common nowadays that we've witnessed. It's called sexual abuse.
Ooh.
So, my dear, this sexual abuse is also common, and it's happening. This occurs to clients or to residents or to elders who may be are confused. They are confused. They're not knowing what is right and what is wrong.
Okay.
So people take advantage of this condition, and this sexual abuse is when somebody is trying to sexually harass them in a sense because they know that they want to do this without their consent, because they are mentally
challenged.
disturbed.
Disturbed.
They're mentally disturbed. They're mentally challenged. So that is sexual abuse.
Right.
That is what is called sexual abuse at this stage.
Right.
And the other abuse is psychological or emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this when they've been sworn, people swear at them, people degrade them, people think that you were useless at this stage, you shouldn't be here, and this is what happens. Yeah? They are left, nobody cares. They loaf around in town, begging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of
Oh, yes.
homeless people as well, being
You
the
find
elderly.
You'll find them sleeping under the veranda, no blanket.
Oh, that's just
Whereas
cruel.
children are comfortably at home.
Oh,
They come, they even see them, they notice them, they know them, but they ignore them. And that's one.
yeah.
And that's another one, which is financial or economic abuse. Eh? So this financial abuse law, this is also common. This is when children or relatives or loved ones, they abuse their property. No,
Right.
they take advantage because they are elders, they are
Yeah.
old, they not knowing what they're doing.
Sometimes they get senile or they get Alzheimer's or
Exactly.
something. So, their mind is not how it normally
It's
used
not-
to be.
yeah,
Yeah?
it's not
So they
normal.
take advantage
They
of
take
this
advantage
to
of
get hold of the property, all
Get
for
hold of-
monetary gain.
Yes. Get all of property, get all of their treasured things that they value all their life. Maybe there must be some things that they've been given by their elders, their parents, and they always treasure, and they'll take it, they'll grab it. They go and sell it or they go and pawn it to earn money for themselves. So that's a kind of another kind of abuse, which is also common nowadays.
Okay.
And children out there listening today, yes,
Yeah.
we've witnessed, we know this is happening.
And yeah.
And that's another abuse is neglect. Neglect abuse. When you neglect them, you don't give them what they deserve. Yeah?
I mean, I'm sure we don't ask much, do we? Yeah, just that
No.
love, I'm sure,
Yeah,
and just
just
a
the
nice
love.
cup of tea, a nice meal, or maybe take them out once in a while. I mean, not once in a while, or quite often, take them to a park or something.
They're being pushed aside. They're being left.
Ignored.
Yeah, they're ignored completely, totally.
Oh, that's just awful.
Nobody cares. They'll be there at home. Yeah, they neglect. So in the sense, even sometimes when they are brought to any nursing home or home,
Yeah?
and they are left here, and they come and they tell us, okay, if you can I leave my parents here or my mom here? Then I'll be visiting them at certain period, maybe after every 6 months or so.
Oh,
My dear,
6 months.
that promise was never fully accomplished.
Yeah, see?
They are left, they are forgotten. And it's happening.
Oh, man. This is the time that we're living through now, eh?
Yes.
Forget all the tradition, what it used to be like. But on Gold FM, this is Speak Your Mind. We'll be back shortly.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. I hope you're enjoying the program. And it's really important as well because as we've been hearing from the manager of the PS Home, Miss Ruthie Kava, about how the different types of elder abuse. It's really shocking. I mean, even for me, I just cannot wrap my head around neglecting the elderly, because we need to pay them respect. But we welcome our guest now, Fiji's former roving ambassador and former permanent secretary of the Ministry of Social Welfare, Nitya Maui. It's great to have you on the show as well.
Thank you. It's nice to be on the show.
Right, great. Now, I will pose this question for you. What is the proportion of Fiji's situation that we're talking about?
Okay. As at the last census,
Yeah.
it's nice to be here. Thank you, Louise.
Naka?
As at the last census in 2017, it was 9% of Fiji's population. And that's about 8,483 people who are 60 plus.
Okay.
And about 60% of those were from the West
in the Central Division,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest were from the North and the Maritime.
Okay.
But it's projected that by 2050, the proportion of older persons would have increased from the 9% that it currently is
Mm-hmm.
to 20% of Fiji's population.
So that means that we'll have a lot of elderly people by then. And even now, we do have quite a lot. And then it'll be projected that we'll have even more.
Much more than this.
Oh, so you can imagine. I mean, even as our friend here has been telling us about the abuse, the types of elder abuse, I mean, to hear how you just come straight out with it and, let us know about what is happening, it's shocking. It's really shocking. So, I mean, on the question that I just asked you, Litia, right, okay, so going into the future, do we have enough aged care facilities to cater for our growing elderly population? I mean, maybe we'll probably have to, encourage NGOs, maybe and religious organizations to maybe build more elderly homes for them to be cared for. So how many care facilities do we have now around? Do you know?
Thank you, Lou. Maybe I'm in a position of answering your question.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we have 3 state homes.
Yes.
It's the Lambasa Old People's Home
Right.
in Siberia Road.
Okay.
And then we have the Old People's Home in Samambula.
Oh, yeah.
Then we have the Natambua Old People's Home in
Right.
Lotoka.
Right.
And then, apart from that, we have the private homes.
Yes.
There's one is the PS Home, which
Right.
is situated Bat Street, Suva.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the Home of Compassion,
Right.
Princess Road in Tamavua.
Yes.
And then we also have St. Vincent de Paul. Then we have the Badalo
Okay.
Home.
Okay.
And there's, yeah,
Okay.
that's what we have that do exist in Fiji right now.
So it's probably obvious that we will need more.
Exactly.
As the projection of us having so many more elderly people to be expected in the country. That's like a huge number. So hopefully that, we can get
That
more
number-
concentration on that too
That
now.
number, Lou, right now is insufficient for Fiji,
Yes.
I must say, at this stage.
Yes. Because, I mean, obviously when we go to town, we see a lot of homeless, elderly people. So, yeah, it would be good, if we could get religious organizations and also the community, society to, maybe fundraise and make more homes. What do you think?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd love to know that. I'd love to see that.
Yes, I
near
mean,
future.
that action should be taken now. I mean, not only depend on government, but everybody, just put their heads together. And we can do this to cater for our elderly. Yeah.
Can I share a thought on that? The other,
Sure, of course
there's
you
another
can.
alternative. That's one aspect of it. The other
Okay.
alternative is just to change the mindsets
Okay.
of Generation Next.
Mm-hmm.
To show them that
Yeah.
this is who brought them up.
Right.
So instead of dumping them, if I may use the term,
Yeah.
into the homes, why
Yeah.
don't you take care of them?
Yeah, see, I mean, you have another perspective, right? I mean, we can avoid all these problems if the family in the beginning, take good responsibility of their parents or grandparents. That would solve a lot of problems. But the thing is, it doesn't seem to be happening, does it?
No.
Yeah. People, like if we can change their mindset by doing something like this, I mean, maybe we could. That would be really good.
Yes, Lou, can I just say something
Sure.
in that regard?
Yes, please.
It's supposed to be a give and take.
Okay.
That has been forgotten
Mm-hmm.
by people listening today.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to look after your elders. You're supposed to give back what your elders have done to you. They look after us since we were brought up, and since we were young.
Mm-hmm.
They educate us, they send us to school,
True.
we find good jobs,
Mm-hmm.
we are comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and most of us then dump their relatives or their parents in the home, and they forget about them.
Right.
Where is our spiritual belief here?
Yes. Everyone belongs to a religion, and
Yes.
religion commands that you be kind to your parents.
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, they're going against the religion.
Yep.
Yep. So that can be very nice. So, I mean, they say karma. Better be careful of that too. Eh? I mean, what you do to others will be done to you as well, yeah?
Exactly.
So maybe when that person neglects his elderly parents or grandparents, that person will probably be neglected too, him or herself. So you have to look at things that way, right? Yep. So how have we been addressing the issue of the aged care settings? How we spoke about 80,200 older persons live in the community settings with families or alone. So maybe we should leave that question to Dilitiana.
We can contribute to
Okay,
this.
yes, please.
Thank
That
you,
would be
Lou,
nice.
for that question.
Mm-hmm.
So like I first said, we in Fiji, we have homes
Mm-hmm.
that are looking after the elderly who
Mm-hmm.
are already in the homes at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have trained carers that have been trained in institutions like at the APTC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are trained for a month, for 9 months, graduated, and they come out. Okay. They're the ones that we recruit them to deliver the quality service that is needed to be offered to residents that are in respective homes, especially for those in the category 4. Category 4, when I say category 4, those who are bedridden.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
Yes, the difficult one. You find most of these cases of this category, especially at the home of compassion.
Okay.
That's a nursing home,
Yeah.
because they look after cases like that. So
Yeah.
whereas in the home where I look after, this is a retirement home. It's the only retirement home in Fiji. Okay. So they are all up about, they are fully mobilized. They look after them, but we monitor them.
Okay.
We
Right.
look after them. We do look after them. We monitor them.
Monitor them, yeah.
And
But they're
we're
quite
making sure everything
independent.
is in order here.
Okay.
So these are the differences.
Right.
But out in the field, we do also have residents or elderlies that are in that category, but have been neglected.
Right.
Yes,
That'd be
because
awful,
they do
eh?
call. They do call us and find out if we do have some carers around that could deliver the service out there in the field. They say, yes, we do. There are carers around there, but as long as you are able to foot the bills.
Exactly, but we'll come back to that shortly on Speak Your Mind. This is Gold FM, only the classic hits, the only classic hit station in the country. Be sure to tune in. This is Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. Thank you for your good company. And we have our guest in the studio to talk about the Elderly Abuse Day, which is to raise awareness on how you should properly treat your elders. And I mean, just listening to what the manager of the PS home had to say, Rudy Kava, I mean, you know very well what's going on in the community in regards to this. So lastly, you spoke about how we have, the stage 4, I think, of our elderly where they're not able to care for themselves at all. This is like, how you said that you provide trainings to people to look after people who aren't able to go to the toilet, for example. So you might like to continue there. You said that they call in and they actually let you know that they're going through that, but they have to foot the bill. So, yeah.
Thank you, Lou. There are a lot of clients that do calling from home, looking for carers to go and offer the service to their parents at home who are unable to do things for themselves or who need the service 24 hours. Okay? So I explain to them, yes. Then sometimes I do go and do physical assessment so that I can work out if there is a carer available, then how many hours he or she would be able to spend for this particular client to offer the quality service as needed or as required.
Right.
So if sometimes when after the assessment, then I tell them, okay, the carer will be required to be here, say, but 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the evening. Okay. So, and then they calculate it and they say, okay, so that amount will be unaffordable.
So it's too much for them
Too much
to
for
pay.
them to pay. If it's about $20 in the morning and $20 in the evening.
What do you have to say about that? Is that, I mean, depending, do they have actually good jobs, do you think? Or, I mean, I'm sure they can afford it. Eh?
Of course, they should be able to afford, because
Yeah.
these carers,
Yeah.
trained carers, they are competent to offer the service.
I mean,
So
that's not
actually-
that much if you
Yeah.
think about
That's not that much. If you
Yeah.
put them in a retirement home,
Yeah,
well, it costs them so much. It costs them
Okay.
more.
more,
Okay.
see?
In Aussie, I used to work in Aussie too before.
Mm.
In a room, in a setup room,
Mm-hmm.
they pay $1,600 Australian a week.
Ooh.
What is $20? $20 a shift for 4 hours a day.
I mean, there might be a lot of children. Maybe they could all put in for it, you
Yeah.
know? You know, if they gel together as a family unit,
Of course.
yeah, they could put in for that money.
Yeah.
But no, too expensive.
Too expensive for them.
Yeah, they never think about, you know, the sacrifice that the parents or grandparents did for
Exactly.
them, change their diapers, you know, full-time responsibility to look after a child. It's not an easy thing. So as soon as the parents get old, okay, that's enough. I don't think I can do this. But with tradition, okay, maybe I'll ask Litia.
Yeah.
In our tradition, in our culture, I mean, we've always taken care of our parents. What is it like today? Is it still the same or?
Okay. I've got my own views on this,
Sure,
and if you don't mind, I want to share it. And
please do.
my Facebook page calls me ageless, raceless, and genderless.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, it allows me to look at things from the other side of the
Okay.
fence.
Okay.
When we look at our obligations as parents and the way that we brought up our children,
Mm-hmm.
if you taught them how to answer back, and
Okay.
when you teach a child the way they should walk, and when they are old, they will not depart from it.
Okay.
So many of the children these days are just probably paying back to their parents what their parents did to them. And
Okay.
I don't want to point fingers,
Yeah.
but we know who we are. When we look at the causes of elder abuse in homes, one is mindset. We
Yeah.
haven't gone there, but one is mindset. Two is lack of respect for elders.
Yeah.
Three is unresolved family issues. And four is lack of wisdom and spiritual guidance and compliance. Many parents don't even try to drill this into their children as they are growing up. So
Okay.
who do they blame? You don't blame everything on the teacher. Like we send children to school so that they can be brought up in things that they should rightfully do. But the teaching begins at home.
Right.
You base them on biblical principles or the Quran principles or the Hindu principles so that when they are growing up, they be careful that they will harbor that for payback time in the future.
Yeah.
Particularly now when we can't even control what they see on the social media, what they see in cyberspace. We can't control them. But what we can do is we can continue to instill in them the values that our traditional, our parents, well, we were baby boomers. So we had very strict upbringing, those of us who are now 60 and above. Eh?
Right.
But after that, things have become, I wouldn't say slack, but a bit too open-minded for disciplining.
Yeah.
Now we can't even, we can't even flick their ears. We can't, because of the rights of the child.
Okay.
But there must be some way that we can still instill the values.
The values and the discipline as well. The naughty corner maybe.
Yeah.
That's that seems to be effective too, without actually flicking their ears or smacking them. You have to create something like that. Oh, I appreciate your view. Thank you very much. So, like what she's trying to say is, when you are a parent, you have to do your duty very well. Otherwise, you could see down the line where your children might neglect you as well. But like for me, even then, you still have to have the heart to forgive, because after all, they are still your parents. I mean, you're born biologically from them, have that forgiveness as well, even if they did hurt you or whatever, and then they come down to the line where they have nothing. Don't you think that we should have a heart to forgive too?
We should.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Because what it says, what goes around also comes around.
Yeah.
Okay, it all depends on the upbringing, the teaching that you've done in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're kind to them, because people are different.
Yes.
If you're kind to them all along,
Yeah.
surely they will never forget.
Never forget. Yes.
But nowadays, there are a lot of people have their mindset are totally different.
Yeah.
Once they start mingling around with others, they try and adopt other people's behavior and teachings from other places where they've been to. So the good teaching that is done from them initially fade away.
Yeah. But the thing is that what I was thinking as well is, like, sometimes they take it in a bad way when the parents are teaching them. There's another saying, you have to be cruel to be kind.
Yeah.
That's another thing, when the parents are, being strict for their own good and the children misinterpret it. Oh, man, they made me work too hard, I had to go and plant about, 1,000 cassava, plants. But, it's a good thing. You need to learn how to work hard. That's how you will survive in life. So maybe you have to look at it that way. Your parents, where you are today, is because of their teachings before. Maybe it was hard, but it still made you successful, didn't it? Yeah. Okay, on Gold FM, this is Speak Your Mind. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, only the classic hits. I hope you're enjoying the program. I certainly am, and it's just great to know what's happening with our elderly. We have on the 15th of June where we mark Elder Abuse Day, and this is to create awareness on, how the elderly get neglected. And, we've had a lot of information on that. Now, for the two of you, how can we challenge everyone to support this campaign against elder abuse?
I go first? Okay, thank you. These are my own views, but I'm sure those who know me know that I've been advocating this all along. Yeah. Many times we wait until a person dies before we go and sing the praises and accolades, but they're already in their coffin. No?
So true.
Those are things that we should accord them while they're still. So take time to go out and see your elderly relatives. Don't wait until you go and bluff cry at their funeral.
True.
If I see somebody coming to bluff cry in my funeral, I'll get up and go and shut them up.
That's a good one.
That's a fun way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But visit them and just have an ear to listen to them. Don't be judgmental. Because what you are, they once were. And what they are, you shall someday be.
Nice one.
Or you may never be.
Oh, yeah.
So take advantage of them and learn from them. They've got a lot of institutional knowledge. They've got a lot of experience that they can share with you if only you have time to listen to them. Sit with them, particularly if they are still mobile. But on the other hand, and I'm jumping the fence now, on the other hand, the elders who are around take time to teach and coach and mentor the younger generation, Generation Next, because after all, this is to whom you will be handing over the baton. In a lot of cases, like I said before, the way we brought them up, we treated them, we used to talk to them, is the way they're going to talk to us. And they will say, well, this is how you used to talk to me. I'm just going to give it right back to you.
Yeah,
So
because
take
that's such a good point, because sometimes the love is not there, only discipline and teaching.
Exactly.
So when you miss out on the love, even that little hug, it means the world. But unfortunately, COVID-19 now, it's so awful. Even in overseas, they can't even hug their grandparents now. They have to hug them through plastic.
And plus, some parents are so busy with work, they don't have time for their children. Remember, one day you will be old. For those of us that have gotten there, we're glad that we are still who we are instead of being dumped at the old people's home or the golden age home. But sometimes I wish that some children could take just a little bit more time to look after their parents, particularly when we see the ones on the road that you referred to. So if there are elders in the family or extended family or even your neighbors that you can go and visit, one little gesture was just going to say, so that they feel that they belong. In the Agenda 2030, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, that was approved by the UN from 2015, or in 2015, from 2016 to 2030, the slogan is "Leave no one behind." So take that, leave that in your heart, so that you will know when you see an older person, not only show them respect, but have time for them. That's all I can see. And at the same time, the older people must not really take advantage of their situation by expecting to be treated special. You know, that's the other way to look at it.
There's so many sides to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great opinion. Thank you very much, Lithia Maui. So now for the manager of the PS Home, Miss Rudy Kava, your take on the same question that I asked her. How can we challenge everyone to support this campaign against elder abuse?
Thank you, Lou. For me, at the PS Home, I always encourage students at secondary schools, when they do come around to pay visit or to perform some kind of items to make the senior citizens' day.
Oh.
So at the same time, I used to tell them, look, you've got to make regular visits of this sort here at the home. These elderlies, they are knowledgeable. Because they come from all aspects of their background are totally different. Some are engineers. We had previously we used to have we had principal of the Untitled School was once one of our residents at some years back.
Yes, and we also had Miss Hibiscus too.
She's still with us.
Still with you? Oh,
she's still with us. And we had other professionals. They are knowledgeable.
Yes.
Our current students should make use of them, visit them, and come and try and gain some experience from
and
them.
knowledge and
They are
wisdom from
knowledgeable.
them. Yes, that's so true.
I used to encourage them. They should do this. Make an attempt at least once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. A group must come
so
and talk to them individually.
Yes. Who normally comes and visits them?
Previously, Untitled School came.
Right.
Yeah, I think there was the Form 5 students. Yeah, not just a number of them, maybe 20 or 30 that came.
Okay.
And there was a school at some schools in Suva area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
They've been, but that was about 5 years back. Recently, they are not doing it.
Oh, so that's what you want to encourage.
I want
More
to-
visits like this.
More visits like this from youngsters.
Yes.
Because, it's part of education from them, because these people, they have the knowledge, they are knowledgeable, and they should share what they have experienced in life.
Yes, absolutely. On Speak Your Mind, Gold FM, only the classic hits, will be back soon. Gold FM, only the classic hits. This is Speak Your Mind. I'm Louise Kaunisela. I hope you are enjoying the show and also being enlightened by this very important topic, which is the United Nations World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. So this is something that we need to be reminded about, and we've had such great opinions that have been shared with us today. So now we have back in the studio with us our friend, thank you so much again, from the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, the Principal Welfare Officer of the Old People's Unit, Dilithiana Bale Nambuli. Okay, so your question is, how does government intend to further address the issue of elder abuse?
Thank you, Louis. Like as alluded to by the experienced professionals that we've had that have added value to the discussions.
So much value.
We're grateful for their input, but with government, where does it stand on elder abuse? I think government as the responsible arm, like for the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, it's the agency in government that is responsible for championing the rights and protection of older persons. And it has policy guidelines, basically there to guide the developments in terms of policies, legislations, and probably programmatic interventions for older persons. We already have a national aging policy in place, but it's subject to be reviewed. But what the current policy stands for is to champion the inclusion of older persons, the protection of older persons, the healthy aging aspect of older persons, and also the provision of enabling environments for older persons. I think it's a work in progress. Government really is there to collaborate with stakeholders. It cannot do these things alone. It needs to use older persons themselves to champion the causes for them. It's pointless having young people as volunteers because we really have the champion themselves right there. So I think I'm glad in this segment we've got experienced professionals that talk on the issue, and while we work on the collaboration aspect of it. And when we say collaboration, we really need to strengthen collaborations between stakeholders like families, communities, traditional village communities, NGOs, civil societies, the private sector, basically everyone. We need to engage everyone. And I think it's important here to echo government's acknowledgement to families out there that are already looking after their older persons. It's not a perfect journey. There may be challenges. There's teething problems, but government is out there. We need to hear from our communities, from our older persons. That's why I think the review exercise on the next aging policy is very crucial, because we need to go to the terrains, the 4 national terrains, to hear, because what they may face in the maritime is very different from those in the central division. So we need to go to those spaces to acknowledge their realities, come back on the drawing board and chart something in context that suits Fiji.
True.
Rather than trying to adopt all the fancy ways of trying to address older persons in the Western way. It has to be contextualized. So we really need our champions, our older persons, our experienced professionals, because they hold the wisdom, the institutional memory. So I think that's a big part.
I think that's a big part too. So the research has to be done really well to have the compare people in villages, they're looking after their parents. How are they doing it? How are they doing it so well? Without resources, but they still manage to do it. So that's a sacrifice which they are willing to do.
Yes, and I think, Luis, that's basically the baseline that government needs. To get our facts right, to get our figures right, and then everything else can be planned accordingly. And I think we need to thank those that are already looking after their elders. I think there's, from the review, it will inform the kind of interventions that we need. We need to probably train and resource. We've been to the Maritime Islands, and they're saying, we need this because of this. So I think that's probably first things first. But otherwise, government is already having social protection for older persons, like the pension scheme. As mentioned by ma'am, statistics of older persons, around 80,000 people are, in that 9% of the population. Already about 200 are in institutional aged care facilities. The balance of that is still in their homes. But we need to promote, like if we are going to lobby for something to champion the care and respect for older person, it also has to go in that kind of tone. So if you're having people that are going to train, you need to craft the package properly. And older persons themselves, they get to craft the curriculum for that, rather than young people designing the concept. The concept design needs to come from from our elders.
Yes, yes. So would you like to add on to that?
I like that because
Lydia?
it's the same thing that the Convention on the Rights of the Child, their slogan, nothing about us without us. Yeah, nothing about us without us. And it's also, whatever strategies will be adopted will be based on felt and expressed needs rather than perceived and assessed needs. So that they get very focused when they get on the ground. I think that is important, and thank you. I'd like to thank the department for for taking care of that need, because it definitely is different out there in the Maritime Islands and out there in the Midlands,
Right.
and out there in
Very different needs. huh?
very different. Yes, thank you.
Unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to end it now, but Speak Your Mind has come to an end, and I thank you a lot for your great company and for sharing with us, and I hope that we've enlightened and changed mindsets today. So yes, from the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, the Principal Welfare Office of the Old People's Unit, the Litiana Balenambuli Vinaka Vakalevu, Fiji's former roving ambassador as well, and former permanent secretary of the Ministry of Social Welfare, Litia Maui Vinaka Vakalevu, and also a big Vinaka Vakalevu to the manager of the PS Home, Miss Ruthi Kava. Your input has been so valuable. Thank you very much. And from me, Louise, we must keep in mind the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Remember that everyone belongs to a religion. So I'm going to do a few quotes from religion. In the Christian faith, honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment, that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life and may this on this earth. And then we have from Islam, respect and be kind to your parents, okay? So, they brought you up, be dutiful to them. They brought you up when you were little. And if one of them or both of them attain old age in your life, say not to them a word of disrespect, nor shout at them, but address them in terms of honor, because that's from religion. And lastly, from the Hindu faith, it said that serving one's parents is the greatest penance, okay? Every child has to be grateful towards his or her parents. So I hope this will change your mindset. Look after your elderly on Gold FM, only the classic hits. I hope you enjoyed the program on Speak Your Mind. I'm Louise Kaunisela, Nisamwa Demanda.